Excellent. There we go. It doesn't even tell me it's recording anymore because all the AI bots are doing what they need to be doing there. All right. So good morning, Texas. It is already. I know this is hard to believe. It's already the fourth week of the year, which means that we are more than 6% done with the year. Which 6% is not a big number, but it's more than zero. So we are definitely moving quick through this year, as all years. Who's got gratitude this morning that they want to share with the group? Gratitude for either someone on your team, someone on another team, shout outs for anyone in your world. I'll give you a second to think about it because we want to take 2 or 3 to get our morning started correctly. So we'll do gratitude for whoever's got it. And while you're thinking about it, I have gratitude for Mary on our team. Mary is our director of operations. She has recruited really great talent in the last few months. And then I want to shout out our Friday crew in the Austin office. The Friday crew comes in early on a Friday. You know, that's got to be exciting. And they meet with the new agents interested in joining our team. And then I want to shout out Helen. Helen, I hope you're here. Yeah, I see you, Helen. Helen on Tracy's team in Houston. Helen always takes such great care of her team. So shout out to Helen. Who else has gratitude or shout outs this morning for someone? If not, I'm just going to pick on you. And it's not going to be somebody on camera. It's going to be somebody off camera.
I'll share, Adelina. I love gratitude. I'm grateful for you for just bringing this entire group together and opening it up. So I love seeing all of you guys and then some of our partners from all over. So I super appreciate you with everything that you do. Grateful for my team. Last night we did 1,256 dials. We connected with 187 people and we set 10 appointments.
Whoa.
Yeah, so that's awesome. So so super excited for that.
Love that. That's awesome. Fatima, going to you next.
I am super grateful for the momentum that we've had on the team so far. We had an awesome happy hour yesterday, and before that, everyone was just building momentum in the office. I think Charlie hit her goals of 50 seller contacts. So it's super awesome to just be around motivated people doing amazing things.
Oh, I love that. Right on. Right on, right on. Very cool. Awesome. That is a good start to our Thursday. In terms of announcements, here's what we've got. We've got Women of Place is now called Women's Power Network. I'm sure you've heard. They have a call today. I'm going to put the link in the chat for you. The call is going to be on the myth of motivation with Via Williams, and you can get all the details from the link in the chat. Future Innovators have their next Zoom coming up Wednesday, February 7th. Elizabeth, do you know what the topic is going to be?
So I don't even know if we'll have the call next week. They have taken spaces off of the calendar. Well, they've taken all spaces off of the calendar. Don't know if you've noticed that. So there's some conversation. So I don't quite know how things are going to progress in the future with having a hard time getting on people's calendars. So we'll see.
That's awesome. We had this conversation in another space, and I would agree with you. I think what they're going to do is they're going to figure out a way where tech has a calendar and spaces have a calendar, and we'll figure it all out. Okay, well, we will figure that out, and we will let you know, people. So that's all good. Speaking of spaces, there is a new space and it's commercial. So if you have ever wanted to do commercial, been interested in it, you're already doing commercial and you want to do more of it, I want to put the commercial space link in the chat so that you can take a gander at it and see if it's for you and join that space. Sound good? Okay, sounds good. Any other announcements that maybe I have missed from anybody else? Kevin, yes, sir, I'm ready for you.
Yeah, just wanted to extend an invitation to my VA loan class tonight from 5 to 7. I'm going to be Zooming it live. Zoom meeting will start at around 5:15 so we can get everybody settled in. We go over everything from the history of the VA loan and how it was started to how a veteran can properly use it to create millions of dollars in wealth at zero down. So if y'all want to come join in and learn a little something, please do, and invite all of your veteran clients to Zoom in as well. I'll put the Zoom in the chat. It's a really great resource and a really great class. I'd love for y'all to join me.
I love that. And thank you so much for doing that for us and putting the Zoom. If you've ever wondered how to even maybe do a class before on Zoom, this would be a good opportunity to jump in and see how Kevin does it. And shout out to Kevin. Kevin is really passionate about this group of people who have served our country. And we are really, really excited to support you in this, Kevin. And then he also leads call nights in his market center because he's in College Station. So definitely like awesome. Love the way you're showing up. Perfect. Let's go ahead. Akash, I'm gonna make you co-host in case you need to do anything. And we're gonna jump in and talk to Akash. There we go. Here we are. We're gonna talk to Akash. So Akash and we have lots of conversations all the time, as you all do. And so some of these conversations, I thought, gosh, if we're having these conversations with our top people, let's just have them live. Let's have an informal conversation together. So I want to introduce Akash to you guys. We're starting our top agent series. These are agents who close 15 million or more every year. And they're doing it not through one source, but multiple sources. That way you are able to replicate. It's hard to replicate someone who's, been in the business 30 years. I totally get that. So we're going to focus on folks who have been here shorter time than 30 years, right? So I would get something to write notes on because Akash does speak fast, which I love and appreciate. So we'll get a lot of content going. Cool. All right, so Akash, I looked up your numbers last night in preparation for this. Akash has closed 10 listings and 14 buyers in the last year. So those are his numbers if you're taking notes. So total of 24, 10 listings, 14 buyers. So I'm gonna go directly to my first question, which probably everyone is wondering, how have you managed to keep such a big focus on listings? What is that all about?
Yeah, so I mean, last year I think it was more trying to leverage listings to just get buyers, because I truly believe one of the best sources for buyers is your active listings.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's definitely for me. I'm hosting almost every open house there if I can. I was very quick at responding to the sign calls, the quickly texts. And I was even circle prospecting around my listings a lot, just saying, do you have a buyer for it, or do you even know a buyer who's currently in the market? And yeah, that's kind of how I started it, but now my mindset has definitely changed more recently, specifically after Built How about my listings and just more generating it to sell and then get the buyers that just go along with it naturally.
Got it. So you're not looking to collect listings, you're looking to sell listings.
Yes. Yep.
Okay, so on that topic, do you ever take overpriced listings? What's your
yeah, so I mean, yes, absolutely.
What's too overpriced and what's a conversation like? Walk us through.
Yeah, so over the past few months, yes, definitely taken a few of my overpriced listings because I thought, again, let me just generate some buyers off of it. But after Built How, it was just straight in there, uncomfortable conversations. And this is how I start my listings that I signed today, basically, is with these uncomfortable conversations, especially if the pricing is above where I want to be, showing the market data and having them walk the active competition in the neighborhood. And then just
okay, so what does that look like? So when you go to a listing appointment, what are you taking with you?
So I always I'll take my iPad or print it out comps basically so you can see the comps clearly. And then I can pre-schedule some of the times just to walk through the vacant ones that are active as well. So we'll go through the listing conversation, through the listing presentation. And if they're not meeting me on my price, I'm just kind of awesome, there's a few vacant ones over here we can go check out. That's under where you're priced. And you can see the active competition right now, basically.
Okay. All right. So you're pre-booking these vacant ones just in case.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no, and that's where vacant go and show those are the ones that I'll be just have on my notes just that we can go visit.
Okay. Got it. So let's say, let's say that they're still kind of they're 5% off from where you want it to be. Are you taking that listing? What does that conversation sound like?
Yeah, so the 3 questions I always ask on the listing presentation now that just opens it up for me to be able to have price reduction competition or conversations in the future is, if you have that much cash, if you have that cash in your bank account right now, would you spend that much on your property? Why or why not, basically? That way I can see what they truly love about their home. And if they say no, it's a pretty simple conversation like, okay, well, if you're not wanting to, a lot of buyers are going to be exactly like you as well right now in the market. Is an appraiser going to value it at what you're suggesting as well? Because that's another hurdle we'll get down in the transaction if appraiser is not going to appraise where you want to be. And then I'll always bring out, if a larger and more updated home in your neighborhood took 60 days to go under contract and they were priced lower, what do you think our chances are? Like for us is going to be to get that price for you. And if they're still pretty stubborn about it, I'll put it in the listing agreement, just kind of saying like, hey, I'll give you my full marketing blast for 2 weeks. After that, we're coming down exactly where I would like to be, basically.
Got it. Got it. And this conversation for everyone listening, this conversation follows you're selling the property 3 times. You're selling it, number one, to the buyer, you're selling it to the buyer's agent, and then you're selling it to the appraiser. Like you don't like as a real estate agent, like your value comes in from like selling it 3 times. You're not just selling it to a buyer. You're selling it to the buyer, buyer's agent, and the appraiser. What about Akash? Let's say that, you know, they say, gosh, that's where you come in, Akash. You're a great sales agent, right? Like you should be able to sell it like, no matter what the price is. Like, do you ever do you ever have that mentality of people, or do they usually come down to meet you? Like what usually happens?
Yeah, well, so usually they will come down to meet me, but if they don't, I will throw in some humility right there and be like, I am, and I have taken listings like this in the past. The longest one it took me to sell was 364 days, and it was a very uncomfortable process through that because it was a conversation like this in the beginning, still got the job done, but it took a long time to get us where we need to be. So that's a mistake that I learned in my career that I will not be doing again, basically.
Got it. Got it. Got it. Do you set any other expectations with your seller or anything else that makes you successful on the listing side?
Yeah, I think just having those uncomfortable conversations honestly sets the expectation of being completely transparent and clear and honest. And again, it opens the door so easily for you to have a price reduction conversation down the line because you're going to be showing them the exact same things. You're going to show if a new market hit the list or hit the market or new listing hit the market, sorry, and it's priced lower than us. We'll go walk it. We'll go take a look at it, and then we'll have a conversation about a reduction after that to see how we can compete with it, basically.
Okay, go back to like late 2020 when you got started in real estate. You didn't, I mean, I assume you didn't have this kind of confidence then. Like, what do you think built that confidence? Like, did you just mess up a few times? You're like, that's it, I'm not doing that again. Was it just a certain amount of listings you had to take? Like, how did you build to this where like you come across to me right now like you're professional, but like you're not going to take everything that comes at you?
Yeah, and I'm very clear about that. And even with the listings that, I only take successful listings. I do have 100% success rate. I don't have any expired listings in my track record. And that's one of the biggest reasons why. And yes, it was hands down going through the roller coaster of taking these overpriced listings and just it was the anxiety, it was stressful, really being able to talk to sellers with no updates and they're looking at you like what you're doing. So yeah, it's that feeling of never wanting to feel like that again because no listing is really ever worth that, honestly.
Got it. Anything else on the seller side that you want to chat about or
I mean, I would just suggest taking them out to properties. Like, I don't think many people are taking their sellers out to properties right now. And I feel like it truly shows them what's out there, so that they can see really what they're competing against.
Love that. I know a few of your closings have come from the Team Pond account, which is really cool. What do those conversations sound like when you're calling? Because these are oftentimes leads that are older, been there for a while. Maybe they were folks who had spoken to somebody else that was on the team years ago, no longer on the team. What does that all sound like?
Yeah, it's more reconnecting with them,
Okay.
knowing, that they may have been shopping during the crazy peak or got discouraged with rates. I kind of found that giving them personal wins or team wins can really get them interested. For
What does that sound
example,
like? Like if you were calling
yeah.
randomly? What would that sound like?
Yeah, so Sarah was like, she was the first one last year, I think, that got in a client 0% down on our team. So I was just calling everyone, telling them that story. Hey, like, and I was calling the tenants specifically, just like, hey guys, we got in a tenant $0 down. They were able to close on their house. I believe it was like in the 300K range as well. So this is something that we can deliver to you. That got me a few appointments and landed me 2 other closings. Basically, it was just that simple conversation of giving them team and personal wins. I used to be a guy who would always try to talk statistics and data over the phone. That was the biggest swap for me this past year, is more, let's become more personal, talk about personal and team wins, and save the statistics and numbers for when you meet them in person, basically.
Okay, so storytelling, helping people understand like how they could win in this market, and you save the data for like more in-person type of conversations, so you don't lose them on the phone.
Yes.
Okay, so if I'm like an agent and I'm going through, and I want to call maybe folks who are renters in the pond, the conversation would be like, "Hey, Kosh, it's Adelina. You know, you connected with somebody on my team, a while ago, and I just wanted to reconnect with you and let you know of a couple of really cool things happening. We just helped the buyer close on a property with 0 down." And it's really exciting because the price is already starting to pick up in Austin. Where are you in your home buying journey?
Yep, exactly. And
That's
they're
right.
always very curious about that $0 down. Like, oh, really? Didn't know that was happening.
Okay, so you're looking for a hook. When you're calling the team pond account, you're looking for a hook and you're using either your win or a team win to be the hook.
Yes,
Okay,
exactly.
love it. Anything else on that lead gen lever?
I would suggest really diving into it now. I know we have a big bulk pond and a lot of people do. Target those 2020 and 2021ers. I'm sure not many people are even calling them anymore. So it's something where reconnecting is amazing. Like I use the team giveaways as kind of like my Hail Mary of like, hey, I can send you a free giveaway every single month. So I stay top of your mind so that when real estate is coming to your attention, I'll always be there for you, basically. And then that way I can get the nurture over into my database.
Got it. You know what's interesting, guys? Like everyone listening on the call, 2 things. Number 1, leads like marketing leads, so online leads of any kind, generally, now there's exceptions where they move faster, but generally they take 6 to 18 months to transact because they're just starting their real estate search, right? Okay, so we often don't like old leads, but guess what? Like old leads have matured. Matured leads lead to closings faster. So you want to be the person that calls those leads that are older in the team pond accounts, and obviously every team's got some sort of team pond account. And then second, the reason we're kind of going through like every lead gen lever is because that's something really cool and specific to Akasha's business is, Ben and Chris always talk about, you put in the time on the left side of the pie, which is, your SEER, your prospecting, your open houses. And then we put in the marketing dollars and the leverage on the right side of the pie, so that you can have business from both sides of the pie. And I looked it up, and 11 of Akasha's deals came from the left side of the pie, like the time intensive side, and then 13 came from the leverage side, which includes stuff from the team. It includes pond, it includes his listing leads, right? That's leveraged, right? Like that listing got it for him. So anyway, I thought that was really cool. I'm gonna keep going, and you've closed some team leads, some Brivity leads, and one of my favorite things about you is that you have an average response time of about 54 seconds. First of all, like that's pretty good. Like, is speed to lead still a thing? Like, do people like still want to be called right away?
Yeah, no, absolutely. It is very important to get in front of them. That's been a shift I learned very heavily last year, because going through the conversations now and even the other lead gen levers coming in, it was something that just kind of clicked, like, why am I treating everything else differently than I'm treating my Brivity leads? Because that's what I found really quick, was that Brivity was kind of at the bottom of my totem pole, which didn't make sense, as those are great leads as well. So that's been the kind of the biggest swap, is just responding to them right away, and it's a very short and concise conversation that I have. Hey,
Yeah, what does that sound like? Like, I mean, somebody just comes on your website or any kind of incoming lead. Like, what does that sound like?
it's always just kind of like, hey, I saw you checking out 123 Main Street. Are you ready to go check it out? We can go check it out here today or tomorrow. They'll either say, yes, I'm ready, which is rare, but they'll say, no, I'm still waiting. And it's more just, awesome, well, let's get you to just go check out this house anyway, so you can kind of get a good feel of it in person. And I can go through the process of just what you can expect when you are ready to purchase. And then if they kind of say no to that, then I'll dangle the hook of the team wins just to see if I can get them. And then after that, it's just kind of I will LP Mama as the last course.
Okay, so let's dig into that for a second. Why aren't you trying to get them in for a buyer consult?
So the reason why I do my buyer's consult on the first round of tours usually, and I usually like to get into a vacant property to be able to do that. I'm way more a person that I'm not a coffee shop person. I'll get them out there and excited about the house. And you'll be surprised because I've done both. I find people just respond a lot better inside of the home when they're looking at it, picturing themselves living in it. It gets them more excited than being in an office or a coffee shop. And I'll, try to get a vacant listing just for that reason, where you can hang out a little longer, talk about everything. And when I talk about the market, it's always very positive. When rates were high, it's like, yeah, rates are high, but that's awesome because so many builders and sellers are willing to negotiate and give you incentives. And then now it's, rates are low again. That's fantastic. And, we're starting to see those incentives disappear when rates have trickled down. So it's one of those things that's, remember when we were at 8%, aren't you happy we're not there now? Let's get out here and start looking, basically.
So that transition, like you're meeting, let's say you meet somebody at the house and you like tour them the house. Like what does that transition sound like to kind of like, would you work with me? Like a buyer agency conversation? Like what's a kind of the vibe there?
Yeah, so I'll usually right at the end of the tour, like, okay, so let's just kind of hang out. I'm going to tell you what's going on in the market right now, basically. And then that's when I'll provide them statistics, data, other team wins, personal wins. And then right as we're ready to walk out, I'm like, okay, you guys ready to start working with me? And then that's when they'll usually say, yes, no, I want to wait a little bit longer. And then it's just the follow-up game after that.
Okay, got it. So you're just like really frank about it, like in a nice professional way. I'd love to work with you. Would you guys like to work with me type of situation?
Yes.
Okay. Anything else that would be helpful to us on Brivity leads, team leads, anything like that?
I don't know if everyone used to have like the Zillow leads at one point, the Zillow paid leads, but treat your Brivity ones the exact same way. It was like speed to lead would get you that Zillow lead, where it's something where in Brivity it's the same thing. It's something that we really need to do.
I love that. I actually saw that you were closing deals from like your listings, like listing sign calls, and also quickly leads, like the text leads. What are you saying to those people to convert them from a call to a client?
Yes, very similar to Brivity. It's something that I'm very much so the believer of once I get in front of them, they're going to be working with me most likely. It's just playing the game to get them in front of them. They're calling the house because they're interested in it. They want to look at a property. So the way I kind of go about that is just let them know like, hey, even if it's not this one, I have a few others that we can go check out. Just so that they can kind of get the feel that, there are other properties we can go check out right there in the neighborhood. I let them know about our team's listings, but it's just getting them in front of me. That's the biggest part for me.
Got it. Got it. You're closing deals from open houses. Anything that you're doing well with open houses, would you say?
So it's something where I've had so many people come in and a few of my closes told me, I have an agent basically. And it's something where awesome, I totally understand that. And I'm not going to cross any ethical lines, of course, but I just talk to them about the market and what's going on. Did you know we're closing at 97% list to close rate right now? Did you know about first time home buyer grants? Have you heard about down payment assistance in Travis County? Like things like that, where if they continuously say no, you're casting so much doubt about their agent, where it's just something where I'm standing in front of you. I clearly feel like I'm providing a lot more information than you've already been getting. And I ask questions like, have you heard this or have you heard that? Just so that they can say no a lot. So that we can kind of get them to believe that they're going to have a better agent standing right in front of them. And, if they're not there with their client and not giving me their card, or not there with the agent and they're not giving me a card, I truly believe that they're not fully going to be working with that agent.
Totally, totally. Got it. I know you're prospecting. What's your advice to us on like prospecting overall? Because sometimes like that's the first thing we want to give up, obviously. Like any advice for us on that home front?
It can be amazing and hurtful sometimes is prospecting. It's part of the game. It's something where just don't get discouraged. I mean, I'm going into will be my 4th year basically where I'm still prospecting 3 to 4 days a week. The reason why is that it's a proven way to success. It's something that everyone has done before me and they've been able to get success off of it. So why would I remove that from my business plan? The thing that I do is I mentally prepare for it every night before. So like I'm coming in here today knowing exactly who I'm going to be calling and my mental scripts are already in place. I feel like that way I'm able to get the most success out of my session. Versus if you just come in and kind of hop around lists, I feel like you're not going to have the best focus on that. So it's just way more for me really preparing the night before mentally to know exactly where my brain's going to be in the morning and who I'm dialing.
Okay, I love that because that probably speaks to like why you're so efficient and effective with your time. Because my next question was going to be, how do you manage your time to work with so many clients, Um,
Time management is hard. It is definitely something that I've recently just trying to become more creative about. Like I drive a lot in silence now because that's just kind of my me time. That's my silence time. I can really reflect off of it, of course. So it's something we're also having an amazing wife like I do with Mackenzie. She totally understands that this is the grind part, that we really need to do this right now, where I spend a lot of my time in real estate. Luckily for me, I don't really have a lot of other stuff, but it's something where it's a lot that can get on your plate if you don't time block your mornings. And if I don't have a successful morning, my entire day is derailed basically. So like the staple to my day is to make sure I'm here minimum 8 to 12. And I'm working a lot of days of the week. So there'll be Monday, Tuesdays where if I don't have any appointments scheduled, those are my days off. So I'll always be there in the morning, but I'll take a few afternoons off if I need to just to recover. Yeah, and then of course I take trips. So that's my big unplug is after working hard, I'll go unplug for a week and come back fully rejuvenated.
I love that. Any other piece of advice as we wrap up? Anything?
Yes, I mean, my advice is the market's already starting to pick up. I truly feel like, I think you said it yesterday where you're like, most agents are going to take about 90 days to figure this out. So we need to get in front of it because I truly believe if, we put our heads down, we really work here in January and February, that March, April, and May is going to be absolutely amazing. And then by that time, that's when everyone else is going to figure out, hey, the market's changing, but we'll be way ahead of it. So that's just where I feel like we're right at the beginning of it. And it's important just to dive back into open houses, into prospecting, calling your expireds, just maximizing the most, even if it's a small wave that comes in, just maximize the most of it that you can get.
I love that. I love that. And just for perspective, you guys, the Austin market started shifting March 2022. So we are just short of 2 years. So 20 months is what it took for us to see like this massive like shift. And then now like almost everything's back into multiple offers here in the Austin area. Not in luxury yet, but just in the normal average price points. So look at when your market started shifting and then count down 18 months or 20 months from there, because most likely, like if you haven't started shifting back, you're about to. So this is the time to like use January, February, March to really fast track your entire year, right? Like everyone's still trying to figure out what to do this year. You just go do it. So awesome. Akash, this was really fantastic. Thanks for giving us your time this morning, talking through kind of the mechanics of your business and what's going on. Oh my gosh, Jeanette said Austin Luxury is seeing multiple offers this week. Boom, you guys, the market is here. I'm so excited about that. Fantastic. So next week is inventory creation day. We will not be on because we will be creating inventory now. Inventory creation day, what it means is going to mean different things to different people, but the ultimate goal is that you connect with sellers, you create inventory, whatever that looks like to you. It may be prospecting, it may be expireds and withdrawals, it could be circle prospecting, it could be a million other things, but your focus is sellers. So we will not be here next week for Inventory Creation Day, so everybody can do their time block, but we will be here the week after with another top agent interview. Akash, have an awesome rest of your day. Texas, have an awesome rest of your day. We'll see you later. Bye, guys.